Welcome to Unity of the Valley Spiritual Center. We are a member of Unity Worldwide Ministries, and we're located locally at 350 North Orchard Avenue in Vacaville, California. If you're a first-time viewer, or if you're returning to our broadcast, welcome home once again.
And so let us turn to God in prayer. For a few moments, let us remember. Let us awaken to the truth that the one power, one presence fills us in each and every moment, enfolds us in infinite love, guides us to that which is the highest and best for us. And for all of this now, we are deeply grateful, and we say thank you. Thank you, God. Amen.
My name is Warren Spaeth, and it's a privilege to be here with you today again. Please hold in mind a person right now, or persons who are near and dear to you, and then hold in your heart these words, these special words for them. You are a beautiful child of God, perfect in every way. You are loved unconditionally, just the way you are. And now we know if that's true for our loved ones, it's also true for ourselves. So now hold this same truth for yourself as you say, I am a beautiful child of God, perfect in every way. I am loved unconditionally, just the way I am. Now I'd like you to remember that our prayer chaplains are here to pray with you for any reason. If you'd like prayer, please email Unity of the Valley Spiritual Center at unityvv@pacbill.net. Thank you. We're glad that you've joined us today. We thank you for your presence. We thank you for supporting our broadcast. If you would like to make a donation, here are a few ways to give to Unity of the Valley Spiritual Center. We give in love because we love to give.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
And now for a few announcements. We're looking for sound technicians to support our services here at Unity Vacaville. If you're interested or know someone who is, please contact us at unityvv@pacbill.net or call at 707-447-0521. Next, our flower team here at Unity is looking for volunteers to contribute flower arrangements for our services here at Unity. If you're interested, please contact the office for details at unityvv@pacbill.net. Thank you. And finally, the big announcement, and that is that Karen Drucker, the wonderful Karen Drucker, is going to be our guest speaker and musician here on August 21st. It's going to be a wonderful day with Karen Drucker. And after the service at 12 p.m., she's going to have a concert here. So the concert tickets are $25. No one will be turned away for lack of funds. And you can register for this on our website at www.unityvacaville.org. And we are so looking forward to this wonderful event. You can also contact the office at 707-447-0521 or by email, of course, at unityvv@pacbill.net for more information. Thank you so much. We invite you now just to take into your mind and hearts this powerful truth of our statement of faith. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God the good.
Let it be easy. I'm gonna let it be easy. I'm gonna make the choice every day to trust my voice and let it be so easy. I used to run around, beat myself to the ground. I thought this was the way to be. I thought that true success was having so much stress, till I heard a voice calling to me, saying, let it be easy. Let it be easy. I'm gonna make a choice to trust my voice. Let it be easy. Now that I see the light, I won't work all day and night. I vow to take good care of me. I don't need to run a race. Well, I'm choosing ease and grace, enjoying the ride effortlessly. Gonna let it be easy every day now, easy. I'm gonna make a choice to trust my voice. Let it be easy. Easy. Gonna let it be easy. Oh, make a choice. Trust my voice. So easy. Easy. Well, I get the job done. Easy when I'm having fun. Easy every day. Easy. It's the only way. It's the only way. Let it be easy. Oh, easy. I'm gonna make a choice to trust my voice. Let it be easy. I'm gonna make a choice to trust my voice. I'll let it be so easy. I'm gonna make a choice to trust my voice. Let it be. Gonna let it be easy. Oh, let it be easy.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this glorious Sunday. My name is Mike Gomez, and it is my honor, my privilege to be here online, giving my truth statements today for you. For those of you who don't know who I am, as I said, my name is Mike Gomez, and I am the regional consultant for the teenage program in Unity West Central Region. We call that the Youth of Unity, also known as YOU. So if you hear me refer to it as YOU throughout my talk today, know that I'm referring to the teen program at Unity. For those who know me well, it's fun to be here again to say hi to all of your smiling faces. And I'm going to talk today about my time in Unity and how Unity has been very reflective of my life. And with that, I begin by saying that for those who don't know, I am a service manager for a company called Amar Garage Doors. We're one of the largest global manufacturers for garage door parts and accessories. We supply local installation companies with everything they need to get your garage door up and running. And I've been with the company about 9 years now. And the way I found myself at this company actually does involve Unity. I love where I'm at, and I get pretty good money and work for a great company with some amazing people. And it's probably been the happiest time I can ever remember being at work in my life. I'm actually excited to go to work each day. And some of that is the surroundings, but some of that also is my belief in Unity's principles, and most importantly, the law of mind action. For, as I said, 9 years now, I've been with this company. Prior to working here, I actually worked for a local company in Vacaville who purchased through Amar. And the owners of that company years back had some kids growing up in the program. And I had the joy and the pleasure of having those kids come through and work with me on a weekly basis, and a lot of times during the summertime, and then again at Christmas with our Christmas pageants and things like that. And so I got to know their parents really well. And one day when I was moving back to Vacaville from Sacramento, I was approached by them because they found themselves suddenly needing somebody to manage their team. And they knew that I had the experience of management in warehousing and industrial through various conversations we had throughout the time that I'm beginning to know them. And I needed something much closer to Vacaville. I was kind of tired of commuting to Sacramento, and kind of took a leap of faith and just left my job in Sacramento. And literally the very next day, I got a phone call from the company in Vacaville. And prayers were answered because I had said a lot of prayers that night when I left, trusting that the right and perfect thing would open up for me. And it was funny because sometimes you don't really understand how or why or when spirit moves. And sometimes it takes a while, which I'm going to explain through some of my story today. And sometimes it happens literally overnight. So those of you who know me pretty much at all know that there is a driving force behind me, and that is my loving wife, Crystal, and my two adorable little girls, Adele and Evie. Now, I met Crystal was not by chance. I was introduced to Crystal by her best friend, Annie, who actually also grew up in Unity and knew my brother through various retreats over the years. Annie was from Sacramento, and my brother obviously was in Vacaville with me. And they met at some retreats way back when they were young, bumped into each other again years later. And I was introduced to Annie. And of course, Annie introduced me to Crystal. And the rest, as you can say, is history. So that explains a little bit about my past, and probably the most important pieces of my day-to-day life, my family, and my number one primary source of income, and how they are related to or connected to stories in Unity. But that doesn't begin to explain the long and winding road that I decided it was my choice to take in order to get to the happiness that I'm at today. And I'm going to tell you now about some of what happened to me in my mid-20s that led me to the point that I'm at now. Initially, when I was approached to do the talk for this Sunday, I agreed and had a completely different concept in mind. And as everyone knows, spirit sometimes moves you ways that you don't anticipate. And you can either go along with it or you can drag your feet, and it's going to get you there anyway. And over the course of my lifetime, I figured out it's just so much easier if you just kind of go along with things and you don't really hold on too much to your plan, because your plan may not always be what's in the greatest good for all people concerned. And that is very much the case for me through the years. I was a couple months back, I was in Kansas City on a work conference, and it was the final night. We still had some closing stuff the following day, but it was the final night there. And I was up late watching television, and I can guarantee that the teenage drama program I was watching was most definitely not written for somebody of my age. However, I know for a fact that what I heard that night, the quote that I heard that night, had very profound significance for me. And I'm going to share with you the quote. The quote was, "Life is too short, so be there when it matters most." And in and of itself, it's a pretty good quote. But the reason that had some very special meaning for me was that week, one of the big themes, one of the big key elements they were trying to hammer home to us at the work conference was a very healthy work-life balance. And we were tasked with writing down what that looks like. And for me personally, what that looked like was being more readily available to help around the house, be more open and receptive to assisting Crystal and being there for the girls, because I felt like maybe I had been lacking in the giving department in that area. And so I wrote down that I wanted to be more available. I wanted to spend more time with them. And in watching the show, I thought, oh, well, that can't be coincidence. Now, I'm a person that can find meaning and inspiration in the most random and obscure of places. Never would have expected it to be in the form of a teenage drama show. But there I was, finding myself very inspired. So the next night I flew home and got up on Saturday morning, and Crystal and I met up with my sister and her husband, Mitch, who is an amazing guy also. That guy's got some stories, I swear. He's a pretty cool guy to be around. And we were on our way to a music festival, a punk rock music festival in Sacramento. And we decided to take an Uber because we wanted to be responsible. We wanted to make sure that nobody was tasked with having to be up late driving while everybody else was passed out asleep in the back of the vehicle. So we did the responsible thing, and we took the Uber. And the Uber driver shows up, and we all go to get into the vehicle. Now, I don't know, for whatever reason, we always seem to end up with a 5-passenger or a 5-seat vehicle, so 4 passengers plus a driver. I'm always tasked as the person who gets to sit in the front seat. Now, for whatever reason, my wife, my sister, and her husband feel like I am the social one of the group. I have no clue where they get that from. But I'm the guy who sits in the front because apparently I like to talk to the driver. We have some good conversations from time to time. So I get in the vehicle like normal, close the door, put my seatbelt on, but I have my head in my phone because I'm in the middle of working on an email for YOU, because as I said before, I'm the teen the consultant, the regional consultant for the teen program. And I'm putting together an email because we have an event coming up 2 weeks after that. And I'm like doing last minute stuff. And I didn't even realize, I'm so oblivious because I'm so involved in what I'm doing, that I hadn't even spoken to the driver. And he looks over at me and says, hey, man, you really gonna just sit in my front seat and not speak to me? And so now I feel bad. Man, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm caught up in an email. Let me finish this, and then I promise my attention is all yours, man. And he said, okay, I respect that. And a couple minutes later, I finished with the email, put my phone down, and said, hello, how you doing? We had a little conversation. And he said, you guys are, where you guys headed? And I told him we're heading to a music festival. And he said, you're gonna go to a music festival and then you're gonna be buried in your phone working all day? And I said, no, man. I said, it's not work, I promise, man. I said, this is more of a joy, more of a passion. I explained to him that I was sending an email out for a church retreat coming up. And all of a sudden, his eyes lit up. Oh, church, man. Okay, all right. What church you go to? And I said, oh, I go to Unity. Have you heard of us? And he said, Unity? No, I've never heard of Unity. What's it about? And I said, oh, let me tell you, man. I like to describe us as a group of individuals who do what they call practical Christianity. And we find ways to apply Christianity to our day-to-day lives. And we find a way to do so in a very positive, uplifting manner. And he said, oh, I like that. That's awesome. He said, so tell me more. I said, well, we believe that there is good in all things, all situations, all people. I said, I gotta be honest, sometimes harder to find the good than others, but I know it's there. And he said, oh man, that's powerful, man. He said, so you find good even in things like death? And I said, yeah. I said, again, sometimes it's harder than others, but even in death, you can find a positivity to come from that. Sometimes it may take a while. I said, for me, sometimes it takes years. And I started thinking back to what was the hardest time I had in my life. And it was when my friend Jason had passed. I was in my mid-20s. I was actually 25. And Jason had passed. And I've talked about this time frequently, actually, because just after that, is actually the time I've referenced where I had my Lincoln Town Car 87 bucket. It was a boat, and it looked like it was holding on by thread. And actually, there were parts of it that were literally holding on by strings. I had 2 blowout tires on back-to-back days. And I've talked about the significance of what that represented for me in my life. But I've never really gone back to think about what started that whole chain of events that led me to the blowouts and brought me on my path back to Unity. And it was all when Jason made his transition 2 months prior to that. That started a downward spiral for me. And I was in a really dangerous place, I think. I was in danger of believing that this was as good as it was ever going to get. It was never going to get any better. And the crazy thing is, having grown up in Unity myself, that's the opposite of what I was taught growing up. So I can kind of paint a picture for you about how complete a 180 my life had done in the 7 years since I had graduated from the YOU program. Now, I was in my head. We showed up at the music festival, and I had been in my head, so I don't really remember much of the rest of the ride. But I do remember getting out of the vehicle and thanking the driver for the talk. And then started to realize that maybe I needed to consider changing my talk, and I needed to have something that allowed people to see a much closer side to my connectivity to Unity and its purpose in my life. So let me go back a little further with Jason. Jason wasn't just a good friend. He wasn't just one of my closest friends. Jason was like a brother to me. And he was like a brother to me because he was also like a brother to my sisters and to my brother. And he came to family events. And we went out to places together. We went out to dinner as a family together. And I went to his place, and his mother treated me as though I was one of her sons. And so losing him crushed me because I had never lost somebody that close to me before. And as I said, that started some things for me and got me to the point where I ended up at an adult retreat in September called Asilomar. I'm at the Asilomar campgrounds and conference center just off the coast of Monterey. And while there, I was approached to become a YOU sponsor, and that led to the position I hold now, where I am the regional consultant. But that was a really long time ago. Actually, it was 19 years ago. We just celebrated the 19th anniversary of his passing a couple weeks back. And what makes July harder for me is not only did he pass in July, but then his birthday was a week later. His birthday was actually a few days ago. He would have been 45 this year. And in thinking back, I remember feeling like I was lost. Everybody knows I talk now about how I feel like there's really nothing ever lost because nothing can ever truly be lost in spirit. But I had the feeling as though I was lost. I had forgotten who I was, not who I was, but really who I was, that I was inherently good. And it took me some time. And I remember the point in realizing I was in over my head. And that was when I had the blowouts on consecutive nights. And I knew I needed help. I just didn't know where to go to get it. I'm going to fast forward to a few weeks back. Crystal and I are at the movie theater. Now, I said before that I can find inspiration in the most random of places. Crystal and I are watching the new Top Gun movie. Okay, it's an exhilarating film. It was really good, and if you haven't seen it yet, I do encourage you to go see it if you're into high-flying action stuff. But the acting actually was really good as well. I was very surprised. There was a point where one of the lead characters was giving a monologue, and the gist of his monologue was that he's come to realize that life is what you make it. And I thought, wow, it's very unity, that ties right into the law of mind action, which is I create my experiences by what I feel and what I believe to be true. So if I'm walking out here thinking that the world is a negative place and everything is bad and everything is wrong in society, that's what I'm going to see because that's what I'm believing. Whereas if I'm out here saying, you know what, there's some bad stuff that happens sometimes, but all in all, it's actually pretty good. I mean, I have my moments, but day to day, I love life, and I feel enthused to get up every morning, go to work, and then come home and see my family. And everything that happens to me seems to happen in a positive light because of how I believe it's going to be and how it's going to work out to begin with. Now, there are some connections in this movie that when we were sitting there watching the movie, I hadn't quite put together yet. First of all, right before we went to the movie, I'm reviewing some of what I had already written down for my talk. And I'm wondering, man, with Jason's, the anniversary of his passing was coming up. It hadn't quite come yet because we were, it was the beginning of July. Do I really want to open that again? Do I really want to go down that path again and rehash some of the stuff I went through? So I'm going back and forth, questioning it. And then, the guy's monologue comes and I'm like, you know what? I kind of feel like, yeah, maybe it is the right thing to do. And then all of a sudden I happened to look over and I had my phone on the seat. It was a very empty theater, by the way. I had my phone on the seat next to me. So that way it wouldn't disturb me while I'm watching the movie. And ironically, I happened to glance over just at the time that the phone lit up. And the phone was on silent because I'm a very courteous patron. But the phone was on silent, but it was ringing, and I looked down, and it's my friend Ian. Now, Ian, growing up, was actually in a rap group with Jason. And I know Ian and Jason because I actually, for those of you who don't know, am a music producer, predominantly hip hop and R&B stuff. I work with a lot of local people, and it's another passion of mine. And I couldn't tell you where I even find the time between being a full-time worker, a full-time dad, a full-time husband, and then on top of that, doing the stuff I do with the youth in the church. But I managed somehow to squeeze out some time for my music as well. And Jason and I, the first song we ever did together, the name of the song was Top Gun. And at the moment that I realized Ian was the one calling me, and I thought, well, that's weird that, Ian called, and Ian was with Jason, and I'm thinking about this whole thing with Jason. And then I look back at the movie screen, I'm realizing I'm watching Top Gun. And I'm like, if that's not a sign, I don't know what is, to be honest with you. So I make all those connections. We leave the movie theater, and I go back to finish writing my talk. And I start looking at the calendar. I'm like, how much time do I have left? Do I have enough time to actually rehearse this a few times to really feel like I have this good and ready to go? And then I start to realize, oh, I'm speaking on the 31st. And my father's birthday is August 1st. So if you know my father and you see him around town or something, wave to him and tell him happy birthday. I always talk about my mom and the significance of her involvement in my life spiritually. Rightfully so. She's the one who brought me to Unity, and even way before that, was doing a lot of spiritual work with us when we were kids. Very powerful stuff. But I never really had much of an opportunity to go into how instrumental in my development my father was. My mom was the one who would remind us of our inherent good nature and things like that. My dad had a different approach, but his approach was very needed. He gave the approach of instill discipline and be a go-getter. Don't let things come to you. If you're unhappy about your situation, do something about it. And that was most important for me in my mid-20s, when everything seemed like it was crashing down around me. His teachings to me to get out and go do something about it, coupled with my mother's teachings of, you have the tools to do something about it, and it starts in here. So those two things combined helped me along my path and helped me get back to where I felt I would be comfortable. And as I said before, it was going to be a long and windy road. But together they did guide me back on that path. Within 6 months of the Asilomar retreat, I went from working part-time and really not being sure what I was going to do with my life to working full-time and actually becoming a manager and knowing exactly what I was going to do with my life. And that experience is what led me to having the experience necessary to apply for the position at RW Garage Doors as the warehousing manager, which gave me the necessary components I needed to take the next step up to where I work now at Amart Garage Doors. And it all started with the simple thing that believing is seeing. Belief opens your eyes to new opportunities that were previously unseen. So for me, I just needed to believe that everything was going to be okay. That everything was okay. That everything will always be okay. You just need to flip your vision from one of a negative light to one of a positive light. I have a challenge to each and every one of you. I want you to pick one thing you would like to change in your life. Just one. Let's not overload ourselves here. Okay, let's start simple. Start simple. I started simple and then gradually expanded upon things. So just pick one thing. And I want you to use this affirmation daily. I can achieve blank, whatever blank is for you. That one thing that you want to achieve. Write that down, put it on your mirror, put it on a little postcard and have it hang from the backside of your visor in your vehicle. So every time you look up to adjust the visor to keep the sun from your eyes, you see that. I can achieve. And know that you can achieve it. I want you to say it daily. And I want to see 6 months from now if that came true for you. Now, don't be too specific. Don't limit yourself by saying, I can be rich by winning the lottery, because the chances of that, okay, well, first of all, I don't want to limit for you either. So if you have that prosperity consciousness that all of a sudden you go out and you play the Mega Millions, or at this point, who knows, Mega Billions, I haven't been paying attention. And I don't want to limit that for you. Maybe that is your true calling. And if that's the case, we need to be getting lessons from you. But I can achieve prosperity. If you believe you can be rich, be open to the fact that richness doesn't always come from a financial gain. Sometimes richness might be you wake up in the morning and you're blessed with a beautiful family, and you're blessed with a great job with some amazing people, probably the best crew that I've ever worked for or worked with in my entire life. And I said that I can be rich. That was my one affirmation that I said when I was 25. That's what I wrote down. At the time, I thought I was going to be a millionaire. But what I have, while money is awesome, what I have, I feel like serves me so much better in this life. And I feel that that is there for you too. And I want that for you. So with me together, I can achieve. Okay. Be prepared for any and all possibilities. I would like to thank you for the opportunity to share with you a portion of my life. And I wish you well on your day. Many blessings.
I find my grace
So now let us go deeply within, deep into a time of meditation. I invite you to sit comfortably. Allow your breathing to be even, regular, very easy. Allowing your breath to take you deeper within. Allowing your breath to take you deep into that sacred space within you, where you know, where you feel the presence of God. And then for a little while, in the silence, allow yourself to simply linger in this experience of God's presence. Linger as you stand alone before your God. Linger in that experience in the silence. Holding that experience of God's presence in your heart, allow yourself to gently and easily bring your attention back to this time, this place. Hold in your heart the words, I am one with the God of my being. Allow this affirmation to bring you into the awareness of this moment, the awareness of God's presence in this moment. And then join with me in saying thank you. Thank you, God. Amen.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Now we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Now peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Now there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me.
And now, please join me in the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. We are one holy family. We celebrate our oneness and honor our diversity.
All right, so remember, as you go forth throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the months, remember, I can achieve. God bless.
Everybody got a little something only you can bring. It's impossible to put it all together. Need every piece to make it complete, yeah. Every note to make a symphony. All the voices singing harmony. All the colors of the rainbow shining. Everyone, everyone. Say yes, say yes, say yes, say yes, say yes, say yes to a world with a little more love. Little more love, oh yeah. Never feel you're insignificant, like a tiny little grain of sand. What you do, what you say makes a difference. Go ahead and reach out your hand. Open the door, say hello. A stranger today, you might get to know 'em. Little love just keeps on growing. Change your life without even knowing. Say yes, say yes, say yes, say yes. It takes everyone, everyone, everyone to make a world with a little more love. Little more love, oh yeah.
It doesn't matter where you come from, gender or race, spiritual beliefs or orientation. Everyone has got the same motivation. Love is love, the same situation. Give love and help one another. In this world, there's only each other. One